All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining. We're going to get started in about 3 minutes. So you got time to do what you need to do, and we'll be started in 3 minutes. Thank you all for joining. Yeah, when I was in Seattle, the weather was beautiful. Oh my goodness.
Oh, when'd you go?
That was last Thursday.
Oh, it was so recent. I forgot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm missing all the good weather here right now. But yeah, I mean the springs and summers in Seattle are pretty amazing. Like springs could be hit or miss. You get some cold, you get some warm, but it's never really too hot. But when the skies are blue, got the mountains in the background, water, can't be beat.
Yes, it's
Can't be
perfection.
beat. And this is coming from like the Texan in me. I've got news. I'm like a Seattleite now, so
Yeah, you
yeah,
totally.
I don't know.
How can you not be? It is. It's gorgeous.
It took me a while. It took me a while to get used to Seattle. It was so different from what I was used to.
It's when everybody was like, yeah, everybody's outside. Like everybody, the sun comes out, we are enjoying it. I'm saying, and like it sounds like Minnesotan, like, wow,
Yeah,
it's above 30. Like, yeah, we're out in shorts.
30.
It's the
Oh,
day.
I this is one odd story. One odd story. So I have family in DC, and I know we went over there, and it was 66 degrees. I remember that 66 degrees. My cousin came out in like short and t-shirts, and he was like, and I came out with a leather jacket, full on. I almost put on a scarf. I was just so cold, and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "What are you doing?" It's cold out here. It's freezing. He's like, "It's 66 degrees." I'm like, I know it's 66 degrees. It was so crazy. And now 66 feels great.
Totally. I mean,
It feels great.
66,
I don't know
it's
what I was thinking.
pool weather here. It's
I
like,
know.
yeah, jump in the pool,
It's all
66.
my Texas friends, when it's like 70 degrees, like it's so cold outside. I'm like, there's no way you're saying that at 70 degrees. Yeah. I've been
Oh,
acclimated. It's whatever. So now my
funny how that
threshold is
works.
so small. It's like between 65 and like 80, and that's all I have.
Welcome, everyone. We'll get started in 1 minute. Yeah, I had a friend who moved here from Georgia, and she made such a great observation, which I never noticed. She was like, "You guys walk really fast." And I was like, "Really? We walk fast?" I'm like, "Oh, because we're always usually cold. Like to get from A
Ah,
to B, it's like we just have to, Minnesotans, we just move fast
we have
to
to
get to
go.
where we need to go so we don't freeze to death." It's like, you're right. I never noticed that before.
Interesting. Interesting. That's a good point. I think I just walk fast in general.
All right, I think everybody is in looking good. Let's kick it off. Happy Tuesday, everyone. I am Tiffany Service Gustafson, a digital strategist with BWG Connect, and we are a network and knowledge sharing group. We stay on top of the latest trends, challenges, whatever is shaping the digital landscape. We want to know and talk about it. We will do hundreds of these webinars this year with the increase in demand to better understand the ever changing digital space. And we'll also do at least 100 in person small format dinners. So if you happen to live in a tier one city in the US, feel free to send us an email or check out our website, bwgconnect.com. We'd love to send you an invite. These dinners are typically 15 to 20 people having a discussion around a certain digital topic, and it's always a fantastic time. We spend the majority of our time talking to brands. That's how we stay on top of the latest trends. Would love to have a conversation with you, so feel free to drop me a line at Tiffany, Tiffany, at bwgconnect.com, and we can get some time on the calendar. It's from these conversations we generate the topic ideas we know people want to learn about, and it's also where we gain our resident experts, Xnurta, who is with us today. Anyway, that we asked to teach the collective community has come highly recommended from multiple brands within the network. So if you're ever in need of any recommendations within the digital space, please don't hesitate to reach out. We have a short list of the best, and we would love to provide that information to you. A few housekeeping items before we get started. First and foremost, we want this to be about you, be educational, conversational. So drop the questions, the comments into the chat, the Q&A as we move along. You can always email me as well at tiffany@bwgconnect.com, and we'll be sure to get to them as we move along in the discussion. And we started here about 5 minutes after the hour. Rest assured, we're going to wrap up before the end of the hour to give you ample time to get to wherever you need to go next. So with that, let's rock and roll and start to talk about new to brand growth, how to leverage AI and Amazon advertising. The team at Xnurta are awesome long-term partners and friends of the BWG community. So I'm going to kick it over to you, David. If you can give an introduction on yourself, that would be lovely. And then we can jump right in. Thank you all for joining.
Awesome, no problem. It's going to be tough kind of fall in your footsteps with that introduction over there, but I'll do my best.
You got
Hello,
this.
everybody. My name is David Liggins II here. I'm an enterprise account executive here at Xnurta. Just so you know, I've been with been within this space just shy of a decade here, around Amazon. Former Amazonian, good to feel private label brand, so I've been hands-on keyboard as well. So just happy to talk to you about some strategies and things to pay attention to when we're talking about advertising on Amazon, AI, AMC, and so forth. Just if you don't know too much about Xnurta, just a little bit here. We worked very closely with Amazon here, with nucleus on the block, if you say. Um, we were one of the Technology Innovation Awards in 2023. We actually won the back-to-back award for technology innovation for our AI and performance in 2024, along with another award for our AMC kind of DSP performance as well. So we're excited that we're kind of making our rounds here within the industry here. But I'm excited to talk to you today about some of the things that we have to offer and how it could benefit your business going forward.
Awesome. Thank you so much, David. Friendly reminder, questions, comments put into the chat or the Q&A as we get rolling, because we're going to cover a lot of things. And always with Amazon, there's a lot of questions, a lot of acronyms. That's always one thing. Like, oh my gosh, so many acronyms. So don't hesitate. If something doesn't make sense, put the question or comment in there and we will definitely address it. So new to brand, I mean, obviously, I sold on Amazon for 10 years, home decor items. New to
Mhm.
brand growth was always top of mind. It's very extremely important for all brands that we talk to. That's a constant, right? And also a constant is the ever-changing market. There's a lot going on in the market. There's a lot of unknowns there. And then we have on top of it technology advancement in AI and all of the changes there that are moving very fast. So let's start there of just, looking at where does a brand that's selling on Amazon, what to start thinking about, where to start, and what to leverage as we're moving, almost halfway through the year at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. You can probably hit this question in from a couple sides here. It's interesting. As a side note, when I started, selling on Amazon back in the day, 2016. Wow, the and landscape of Amazon and advertising has changed drastically over the time. The technologies, the advancements, how complex the advertising has become. But to answer your question specifically, when it comes to other brands that are launching on Amazon or who also have a brand name who just decided that they want to leverage Amazon as another part of their ecosystem, it just really depends on where you start. But in reality, you do have to advertise. We know that because 60% of a detail page is full with advertising, when that did not used to be the case, a few years ago. Foundationally, a lot of brands will probably start off with sponsored ads, right? And this is where you talk about sponsored products, sponsored display, and sponsored brands. And even then, these particular advertising types have grown more complex over the years, and over the last year and a half has become more complex as well. Especially with I guess with AI helping you to kind of release some of that complexity and analyzation or analysis, I should say, in order to kind of get that profitability. But then you have DSP, demand side platform, which was launched some years ago as well, and then advancements there. And I think that really, in order to be successful, you really have to have a full funnel approach, which we can talk about. That's really starting off with sponsored ad, and depending on the type of products you have and your customer base, maybe leveraging DSP as well. And the big piece of that is going to be AMC insights, so you can understand how your customers are navigating through your product portfolio as well.
AMC, yes, that's always a topic as well because there's so many questions around AMCs. We'll definitely get to that as we move along. So, new to brand growth, what I remember with Amazon, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that is measured on Amazon as someone who has never bought your item or has not bought within the last 12 months.
Yes,
And
you're
it's
right. So
on
yeah.
brand level. Can it track on an ASIN level?
Yeah, so if they purchase on an ASIN, that's still going to be tagged to your brand. So if they made that purchase within the last 365 days, they are roughly right. They would not be new to brand here. And so new to brand would be somebody who has not. They can see your brand, they can engage, but if they have not made that purchase, then they're not considered new to brand. Yeah,
Got it. And then
absolutely.
best practices for, you said the last like year and a half with AI coming to the platform on Amazon and all these tools within the portal and how to maximize them. How, let's say sponsored ads, because that's a great
Yeah.
starting point that you brought with.
Mhm.
That's usually where you get your feet wet when you start advertising on Amazon. How can you leverage
Yeah.
AI with sponsored ads?
Yeah, this is really interesting because I think there's AI is that buzzword. It sometimes can be a misnomer where it feels like it can do everything for you. Everybody has a different thought process of how AI can be leveraged within Amazon space or what AI can do, but it's really just kind of level setting. Each company has like a different approach to AI, if you will. Some are rule-based automation that they try to upgrade and leverage AI, or they're calling it AI. Some is true AI, right? We're definitely on the latter half of that, where we have true AI that's helping you kind of optimize your advertising on Amazon, and other marketplaces as well. But one thing I do want to stress is that AI is not the end all be all, right? You still have to have the foundational knowledge and structure on how to advertise on Amazon. So making sure that the home is taken care of, right? So you got to have your detail pages of retail ready. You need to have the reviews that are there, right? That 4.3 rating, so you can get that 4.5 stars lit on Amazon. Make sure you have great images and content, language and copy that resonates with the customer to help them get the information to make a purchase decision. All these things are foundational, right? You have to have that. So no matter what you do with advertising, if you don't have the foundational pieces there, it's going to be very difficult for you to be successful unless you have a household name brand for the most part, right? And some people do. Um, with that bit of understanding, now that's where the complexity starts to get in. And that's where you have to start to look at how you structure your advertising when you're building out your campaigns, doing the keyword research on and understanding how customers are finding your product. And there's tools that we have that allow you to really do that research and hone in. So I would say that over the years, really, it's you have to have that level of knowledge in order to kind of get the foundation has improved a bit, increased, not to where it's like overwhelming, right? But just enough to where like you have to know a little bit about like the space and how people search and how the AI algorithm works. And then from there, layering on AI can help you really take it to the next level. But AI is not going to solve something that's already like that's broken for you, right? So just making sure that you have that foundation set and then layering on these complex strategies with AI to help you in that as a tool, that's where you're going to start to see that performance uptick.
And what are some of those AI tools that
Mm-hmm.
you recommend?
Say it again.
What are some of those AI tools?
Well, I mean, I'm biased here, but I'm going to say
Uh,
Xnurta, right?
Absolutely.
No, but I'm transparently here, and this one of the things that we do pride ourselves on here at Xnurta is that we are very transparent. And so I've used a handful of tools within the industry, right? And so I've had my go at many of our competitors' tools, other tools I've used for my business that we're not really directly competing with. So I have a good understanding of how some of these other tools work and the differences between our AI and the others. The one thing that do want to stress that Xnurta is that we have a lot of smart engineers and the product team behind us as well, and that's why we've been able to develop these language models and algorithms in the background in-house, right? And that's help us, make better our AI make better decisions, hand over fist from my competitors, and I've seen this firsthand. One of the things as part of my story, I had to transition around 20 or 21 clients 2.5 weeks before Black Friday one year, a couple years ago. And that was a lot, right? And what's keen about our tool is that you can leverage all the AI features on existing campaigns relatively quickly, right? So this is not something that you have to build or develop within Xnurta to use. And that was one of those value props that I haven't seen in a lot of places, right? Typically, you have to build these things within the other tools to use them in order to get them doing running well. And if you take them off and put them back on, things break. Um, the flexibility that we give our clients and our partners to leverage certain features, whether it be bid optimizations or day and time parting or budget day and time parting, leveraging Amazon's AMS, harvesting, keyword negation. These are all different things that our partners could use with Xnurta that they can use at will, right? So that gives you the flexibility and the customizability that you need in order to advertise the way you want to advertise. And that's why we call it the co-pilot, because it's not a set it and forget it, right? It just allows you to focus on that strategic execution very quickly, right? The speed of launching these particular campaigns and launching this AI on things that are working and some things that may need improvement as well. So that's why I joined the team, to be quite honest with you. I've used the tool, I saw what we were building here, and I wanted to be a part of it. So, yeah.
So the key is the flexibility of the tool that you choose. And
Absolutely.
the also the integration side of it too, and making it a light lift versus like it being a
Yeah,
long series of an onboard.
absolutely.
Remember, questions, comments put into the chat or the Q&A as we move along.
Hmm.
For the brands that you've worked with, what do you see when they go down this path of like, what's their biggest challenge that they're having around having that grip on new to brand growth, trying to grow that sector more, and then not having the right, what are they missing? What do you see are like those common
Yeah,
challenges that brands should think about?
you know, we talked about the complexity of advertising. So it's introducing that complexity because you need that in order to drive efficiency throughout your advertising funnel, right? But at the same time, making informed decisions based on the data that you have. And so that's been a little bit difficult. Now we've gotten better at understanding how sponsored ads kind of takes into play, but we understand that's also a lower conversion funnel piece, right? So when you're going to like let's say sponsored products, there's a customer intent, they're searching for keywords, they're ready, they already have their credit cards saved in Amazon and everywhere so they can make that purchase. But then when you start to move up the funnel with like sponsored brands, driving that awareness, we're so used to that efficiency, I say, at the sponsored products level, that it's a little bit of a shock when we start to go a little bit more upper funnel with sponsored brands and display, right? Which was the first piece of driving new customers to your particular product. Like, did they go search a competitor's page or a keyword, and then are they coming back? And then you see that ad kind of follow you along on the internet, like we always do. But really, it was that shock of like, well, I'm used to this, seeing this result quick, right? With sponsored products, it is very quick, and they're not used to that longer term play with driving more upper funnel strategy when it comes to brands and also sponsored display. And the same thing goes with DSP as well, is where we have that long term play. And so leveraging insights and AMC now, I say AMC was that piece that helps you understand and connect the dots with DSP being kind of a black hole, if you will. Like, hey, I'm spending a lot of money. This is one of the complaints. I'm spending a lot of money. I don't see it. I don't know how to measure it. And we're still going through challenges when you talk about measuring and omnichannel and so forth. And so having AMC has been a big piece of the puzzle with understanding how customers are navigating through your product portfolio. It helps you understand a little bit about what they're doing from the sponsored ad side. It helps you have a better understanding on what you can potentially implement from DSP moving up the funnel as well, and also be more precise in the way that you're targeting. And that precision is what I guess people are really trying to leverage when they're even starting off now. Instead of just going it and then starting to optimize and be more precise, it's like, how can we be more precise from the get-go to be more profitable? Because it's going to be the time to launch these particular campaigns that people are worried about. The resources and knowledge as well is another thing as well. And then Xnurta it can be used as an educational tool because we have best practices built in the things that in our software that helps you launch these campaigns very quickly, when you may not have the seven, whatever, 6 years experience of running DSP over the last few years, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a lot to digest, and especially for anybody who's maybe not familiar with AMC, Amazon Marketing Cloud.
Yes.
How does one get access to AMC?
Yeah, so AMC is a feature that, and I know Amazon has just launching some new stuff with AMC where longer periods of purchase timeline up to 5 years. So some really exciting things happening with AMC, Amazon's marketing cloud right now. You can get access to AMC through Xnurta as well. We've actually worked hand in hand with, now you can still, with using Xnurta, you can actually create instances for the AMC data, for your particular brand. And what this does, it attaches your sponsored ads and DSP information, ads information to this instance. And now we pulling in this instance that allows us to visualize these information. And these insights are what helps you understand, like, hey, is there an opportunity here? Right? For DSP, is there opportunity with this audience? Or how do we drive more efficiency at the mid and lower funnel of DSP, or even at the upper funnel, just targeting more specifically, right? Understanding how to allocate those particular dollars. But they're also making upgrades to sponsored products and sponsored display, which you can leverage custom audiences as well. So when we say AMC is a way for us to get those insights on a unique user level. So Tiffany, you're a unique user. I'm a unique user. Everybody who shops on Amazon has a unique ID associated with them. Amazon doesn't tell us what that person is associated with the ID, but we know there's a unique person and we know their purchase behavior. So now we can create these audiences based off of that demographic that has a propensity to purchase from our brand and target them in a very specific way that could be a little bit more efficient for our advertising as well. Yeah.
Yeah, which is amazing, these personas,
Yeah,
based
absolutely.
on bringing that together. And it doesn't matter if you're 1P, 3P hybrid,
Mhm.
you're still able to leverage AMC.
Yes, that is correct. So I think this is a good point. So there's one particular strategy where I mean, there's many different strategies, but let me just tell you a little bit about what you can do with kind of AMC here. So for example, one of the things that we won our technology innovation award on is because our AMC solution is a no code solution. So you don't have to know SQL. And what this allows us to do is you can get these and or exclusions for custom audiences, or we can get these insights and you can just test very quickly on the different things or insights you can get. You can create them very quickly without needing to code. So I'll give you an example here. Let's look at path to conversion, for example. Path to conversion allows you to understand each advertising type that led to a particular conversion for your brand, right? This is good to know. Actually, you know what? I do have a slide here I can show and I can speak to this just
Yeah,
a little.
visuals are
Yeah,
always great.
yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Let me see if I can pull this up here.
And as we bring it
Let me
up
see if you can see
here,
my screen. Can you see my screen
yep,
here?
looks good.
Okay.
Bring up
So
any questions you might have as we roll
yeah,
around because there's
absolutely.
a lot to digest here.
Yeah, absolutely. So I noticed it was a little bit smaller here, but for path to conversion, this is one of our models, and this is one that I just kind of start up when we're talking, we're demonstrating the kind of the power of AMC. So what you're seeing on the screen here is every advertising type that a customer touched that led to a conversion here. So we can look at the total purchase for unique visitor, right? So this is how many purchases on a unique visitor level. So the individual different people, for example. We can look at the sales, we could look at the ROAS, the efficiency here. What's unique about this is that we can slice and dice this so many ways. I know this is not a live demo, but this edit button allows us to add and drop different pieces of information here that we want to see. And we can also do different filters. Now, what's unique about this is that there's this little button here, this model query. So even though this is for your brand, right? So we can see how effective DSP is, sponsored products or sponsored display, or sponsored brands. This is for your brand all up. What's unique about this and our tool is that now we could go in and we could specify a custom path that you can see here. What can you do with that? So instead of looking at the path to purchase for the brand all in all, now we can get a custom path. So let's just say we want to understand how effective our DSP awareness campaigns are. For example, we want to see, are we attracting new to brand customers, right? Are we going out and reaching new people that we haven't reached before and driving them into our funnel? For example, so what we can do is create a custom path that allows us to select specific campaigns that align to that part of the conversion funnel. And now we can have the same analysis that you see that says, hey, are our awareness campaigns bringing in people and how are they engaging with the other product types or advertising types that led to conversion? And so that's just one piece. But how about we can take it a step further? And let's say we want to analyze how are we gaining market share? Are we getting share from my competitors, right? So we could allow to advertise on our competitors' detail pages as well, right? So we can have DSP awareness campaigns or people who have searched for your competitors or landed on a competitor's detail page, for example. We can then specify this as a competitor tactic. So we can look at, are we driving people away from my competitors or from my competitors' pages, and how are they engaging with our advertising that led to a purchase? So once we understand that, now we can influence this as well. So we're like, hey, we know that they touched DSP first. And so we can go and say, hey, if they've touched advertise, like maybe say 2 or 3 of our advertising types, because we know that they have a higher ROAS, a higher return, a higher chance to convert when they do so. We can create a specific audience just for that reason or based on that behavior, for example.
That's visuals. These are awesome. So just like theorize here, if you have a competitor and we
Mhm.
know like there's going to be some challenges with supply chain in the coming months,
Yeah.
and you're watching the competitors out of stocks.
Yeah, that is absolutely one use case here. So it's going to take a little bit of work and it may be a different approach than what you're used to. But however, if you do a little bit of research from your markets to understand who your top competitors, and maybe not necessarily top competitors, look at your competitors that are around you on that first page, if that's where you are, right? That's where you should be. That's where we all want to be, somewhere on that first page, if not above the fold, at the top of the first page, within the first 8 or so organic placements, right? But let's just say you're in the first page in general. Given the current scenario right now, with the charges and tariffs and so forth, there people are going to run out of stock. There will be competitors that run out of stock, right? So if you're in a fortunate enough situation where you do have enough stock to kind of last you through the year or through these few months until some things change potentially, right? One of the key things is that, hey, I want to be shown for people who are searching for competitive keywords or have land on the competitive keywords at some point, et cetera. I want to retarget them for a like product of ours, right? So now you can capitalize on people who need this product when your competitors are out of stock. These can be top competitors, or it can be one of the middle of the road competitors for you. But this is a great opportunity to kind of lean in and making sure you're grabbing that market share. And the reason why that's so critical is how Amazon's algorithm works. The sales velocity and your historic sales velocity is critically important. So as the longer that your competitors are out of stock and the more sales that you get, the more difficult time they're going to have getting that placement back once they are back in stock. So this is your chance to get ahead if you have the opportunity to do so by making sure that you're getting order velocity through all of the keywords that are relevant for that particular product.
It's a great example. It's, putting some opportunity into, a very challenging situation.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Having dealt with the tariffs back in, 2018, 2019,
Hmm.
this is a great example of we decided as a brand we don't want every sale. We want the sales that are profitable and to be more strategic with how we are selling and the conversion. And
Hmm.
I think this is a perfect example of having that data to be able to have you a better roadmap of, yeah, this is our path and this is where we want to focus on because this is where we have to, make the most out of our margin, or we only have so much to play with when it comes to advertising spend. We only have so much inventory based on the supply chain issues that I have. So all of that ties into this to be able to build out your roadmap and really hone in on, the things that are going to, move the lever. So questions,
Absolutely.
comments, put into the chat as we move along. And then to add complexity to this, let's talk about, Prime Day,
Yes.
typically in July. So
Yep.
what should brands be thinking about with all of these tools that we're talking about and these, ideas of strategy to get ready for that?
Yeah, absolutely. And so, one thing that unfortunately AI right now on Xnurta can't solve is inventory issues, right? So that's going to be the biggest challenge, just making sure that you're staying in stock in a way that means you can be profitable for your business, right? And I know that we are going through some challenges doing so. But being in stock is going to allow you to be visible when your competitors are not, and right. And as we mentioned, that's going to be the key. So, although one of the things here, there's a question that was asked is like, hey, we're going to be potentially running out of stock, or we're going to be short of stock for a while. We're going to get some in, but we're going to be short. One of the things that you want to try to avoid is artificially slowing down your sales for the sake of saving your inventory for the most part. And the reason why that happens, and that's why that is because, well, if you start to artificially slow down your advertising, then that signals to Amazon that the particular campaign is not performing as well, that the demand is lower, which can negatively impact your rank, right? When there's a certain spike or step down in the order volume or sales velocity through certain keywords. So you want to keep that momentum going. That momentum is what Amazon ranks you on BSR, your best sellers rank. So that number in your category and subcategory that defines where your product lies with the other millions of sellers and millions of products that people are searching for. That's really important because as that gets lower, typically that means that you're ranked organically higher than your competitors on a plethora of different keywords. You need to keep that going, right? And so it's better to run out of stock fast versus try to start to sell slow, if that makes any sense when it
Mm.
comes to Amazon's algorithm. That may not be the place across the rest of the other marketplaces, but for Amazon, that is definitely true. And it's something that I've experienced firsthand, right? And so I was like, if I keep I was selling, one product I was selling between 70 to 120 units a day for that product. I saw myself kind of slowing down and selling maybe 50 a day. And then I saw my organic rank dropped every few days. I'm like, wait, what's going on here? And so I said, you know what? Let me pick it back up. I got back to my original orders. I just sold out. So when I do that and you do sell out of a particular product, it's best to, I guess one of the things is mentioned to close your listing, right? Close the listing doesn't mean end it. It just means it's stopping, it's pausing it. You're not just keeping it out of inventory. Just close that listing, get stock back in, reopen the listing, and then you can go back to advertising and selling. So that's one of the nuances, that has typically kind of mitigate, or at least tried to mitigate some of the negative impact of being out of stock, but ultimately being out of stock is one of the most troubling times if you're selling your product on Amazon that you want to try to avoid. So again, looking at your competitors, and see if you can, advertise for people who are searching for your competitors, leaning into your advertising as actually, right? This is going to be one of the things that you can try to get ahead as you increase your order volume. You can improve your organic ranking. Go a little bit deeper into understanding your keywords, right? Understanding what keywords are driving that volume. So if you do need to pull back a certain spend, let's pull back on keywords that are not driving the most volume for that particular product, if that's going to be the case, if you're looking for where you can do some savings. So those are the things that I would say that you may want to pay attention to leading up to Prime Day as well.
And utilizing AMC, a tool like Xnurta, being able to harvest those keywords a lot more efficiently and effective, because I know that that was a very tedious task for myself and my team
Yeah.
when trying to analyze.
Yeah, absolutely. And so one of the things with our AI tool, we also harvest keywords. And one of the key features that we launched that was actually new was harvesting keywords through leveraging AMC. And I think that we were the first, or are the first and only person to do that. Now, what that means is that there's still opportunities to, for our AI to harvest keywords without AMC, right? This is just an added feature. So for example, it's going to look at your impression, it's going to look at your clicks, your click-through rate, sales orders, and velocity, and so forth, and is looking for keywords that have a propensity to convert now or in the future, right? And that's what's so robust about our AI tool is because we're leveraging 20 different algorithms in the background, right? And so it's not just one thing that's making the decision. We have 18 predictive algorithms, we have a risk algorithm, an expert algorithm. All this makes it look like just, hey, here's our AI, right? It's packaged nicely into these AI features and these 8 action spaces that allows you to negate, harvest keywords, pause underperforming campaigns, steer the AI in the right direction, and so forth. Manage your budget, your day parting on bids. It does all of those things in the way that you want to do them. So if you want to turn some of these features off, you can, right? And implement them. So, and the next piece of that is AMC harvesting. And then what that means for you, right? What is AMC harvesting? So I'll give you an example. Let's say you have a campaign that has, and you're advertising 3 or 4 products on that campaign. They may be related, right? They should be related in this particular case, but it could be a different variation theme, right? Maybe it's not just color, but maybe something is a style, right? Maybe that style has a couple extra pieces of whatever in it or something like that. Maybe it's a different bundle. Um, One thing that you can do, what the AMC harvesting allows you to do is better identify the keyword that was searched and the particular product that was actually purchased. Because we know a lot of times that even though the ad was clicked, there was a different product that they purchased that may be on that detail page. AMC allows us to better align on the specific keyword for that specific ASIN that was being purchased as well. So that's just one piece of the puzzle where we're really continuing to innovate and improve. And what that means is that we've been able to harvest around 44% more keywords with an average A cost of around 18%, right? So this is efficient harvesting of keywords along with our standard AI harvesting as well. And one more thing that we can add to this is that when we're looking at AMC data is also, well, there's one tool that we have is called our cross-product association. So that allows you to understand if you have a hero item or a hero ASIN, if they purchased that ASIN, if they purchased that ASIN and ended up purchasing a subsequent ASIN, meaning they came back, left Amazon, came back and purchased something else at a certain point in time. If they've included or increased their cart size or average revenue per user, ARPU, as Amazon speak. So they bought something together, which can inform upsells or virtual bundles. That could be opportunities for you as well. But another one is also alternate product. So did they look at this ASIN, did not purchase and come in and purchase something else? Now you can really understand their customer behavior across your product portfolio, and you can start doing some creative things. You can protect your brand share by advertising your alternate ASIN on that particular ASIN that they didn't purchase. You can retarget customers who looked at your hero ASIN but didn't purchase. How about we start targeting them and create a custom audience with the alternate product, right? So because we already know that's the behavior that they're demonstrating. And so these are some of the insights that you can move on very quickly ahead of Prime Day, leveraging AMC data along with what you're doing with advertising and Xnurta as well.
And at a time where, again, you have to look at it like SKU economics on a SKU level. So the fact to
Mhm.
be able to like drill down on an ASIN level is a very big deal for everything within your ecosystem, the inventory management side, the spend, the better understanding the customer's experience. Question here about the intel gained from AMC or a tool like Xnurta, can you leverage that to use that to strategize on different marketplaces?
So we have Xnurta is available for Amazon and Walmart right now. One of our focuses this year is expanding omni-channel. So again, this is one of those things that our product team and are constantly working on because we understand that there's different marketplaces that people are selling on. And so this is also important to us as well. And so there are other marketplaces on the roadmap, which I can't speak about right now. But yes, we are working to make the tool available for as many marketplaces as um, we see fit, right? As the market demands. So I know that's something that we're constantly working on and evaluating. Yeah, absolutely.
Would you say that brands, whatever they gain intel wise from AMC and the Amazon customer, can translate to their own website? Do you see variation there much? Is the Amazon customer different than the brand's
You
customer on
know,
their own?
I think that's a mixed bag. I think we've seen where the demographic, I would say, would typically be similar, right? But we have seen different behaviors from direct to site versus Amazon, right? Amazon, for better or for worse, kind of spoiled the customer or like shipping speeds, and they want it now. Now we have 2 day, 1 day, same day, right?
Hmm.
And so these things do impact the customer experience as well, and they have that expectation. So I think this has been one of the biggest contributors to kind of the different way, but that customers shop. But again, direct to customer sites still do very well, right? And Amazon understands that as well, and they've actually leaned more in the direction of I would say probably helping brands or at least having leveraging brands and the data on the direct to customer site. So there's things you can do. You can look at stuff that's direct to customer and then also use these 1P information and upload this to AMC. AMC is a clean room, meaning that Amazon cannot see what's in your AMC. Once you create that instance, that information is locked from them. They cannot see that, and that's legally, right? They cannot see this, not going there. So what that allows you to do is you can take this half information from your 1P and your 1P information. I say 1P, let me not some one party data,
Hmm.
and then you can get this information and create lookalike audiences from that as well to see if there's kind of an overlap with that demographic that you're potentially targeting. So that's one way to do it. There's link out campaigns and things you can do that can link people to your brand story now, where Amazon was not allowing that before. You actually got penalized for linking out to go to driving traffic off of Amazon. Now, Amazon still loves you bringing them traffic, right? So if you're talking about organic ranking and how to influence that, bringing traffic to Amazon is one of the quickest ways for you to start to rank your product on kind of an FYI. But they're giving more tools to brands in order for them to help continue to build those brands, build brand stores, send people direct to site, et cetera, to be able to catch them in both places. But there's ways that you can use AMC to help you analyze both your 1P data from your customers on direct to site and also your information and how it aligns to some of the demographic and audiences on Amazon as well.
Awesome. Final questions, comments put into the chat or the Q&A. One more here with new to brand growth, also
Hmm.
new product launches to help support new to
Hmm.
brand growth. So could you give some
Absolutely.
examples of where you see these tools and opportunities helping new product launches on Amazon?
Yeah, so this is interesting. When I first got my hands on Xnurta, I actually launched a couple brands from the ground up on Amazon. Now, some of these brands were new to Amazon and just new to the space, and some of them are just as new to Amazon, but they had somewhat of a brand name outside. And one of the things that would help is actually one of the reasons why we won our Technology Innovation Award in 2023 was our smart creation process that allows you to quickly launch best practice campaigns. When I say best practice campaigns, I mean campaigns that are structured, so you had good campaign hygiene. So for example, one of the things that we saw quite often I still see is mixing your match types in your campaign. That is going to cap your performance, right? And so, because we know that broad performs differently from a phrase match, performs differently from an exact match. And so, one of the things we have built into our tool, for example, is you create these campaigns very quickly where you have these match types separated. So you're not mixing exact and phrase and broad all in one campaign because they have different performance. You're going to bid on them differently, and they're meant to do different things, to be quite honest with you, right? And so you're able to launch hundreds of campaigns very quickly. We had excuse me on the numbers, but we did have a case study here where a brand increased their ad attributed sales by 408%. I believe they've launched close to 1,000 campaigns within 30 days because of our smart creation tool. And so you're able to create them very quickly, understanding your keywords, and then launch them and push them to the console. So and then and our AI also helps you rapid test. And so as you start to launch these campaigns, because we understand the mind of Amazon's or how Amazon's algorithm works and how that mind of the advertiser in a sense, it allows us, we do things that we allows us to rapid test. So we understand like, hey, where can we get this engagement? And then we start to work from that engagement and start to kind of build on that and then see and test and learn what works and what doesn't. But we do this in a way that's we're not going from like a $2 bid to like a $10 bid or anything crazy like that, right? We have systems that come in and check this every hour of the day, every day of the week. And if there's a need to make a change, it can start making these changes in rapid tests to help get things launched. Now, I know we have a question here, but one last thing I want to say about that is that AI is a tool to help you accelerate and go to market very quickly and optimize very efficiently. But it is not a replacement for understanding how to launch on Amazon successfully. You still have to understand that Amazon likes you to spend money on keywords and get the engagement to make the sales. That's ultimately what you have to do. But now, can you do this in a way that's more efficient than previously done? And that answer is yes. And we can do so very quickly with less resources in order to kind of get a better result as well.
Yeah, and for your team, I just think of my team and how we a lot of times were just like throwing it at a wall because we were just like, we don't know. We didn't have the data back then to like actually make strategic decisions and best utilize our budget that we had. So huge
Mhm.
opportunity for a team to empower them to make better decisions and be able to like move faster with
Yeah,
testing and learning and their
absolutely.
strategy. So, question here, what types of AMC queries do you suggest to help to better understand effectiveness of driving offsite traffic into Amazon?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm reading that one more time here to help better understand the effectiveness of driving offsite traffic into Amazon and looking if it's in offsite traffic and activity, promo activity, competitor. Yeah, and so if you're looking at, I guess so. The biggest AMC is really going to be that piece that helps you understand where that traffic is coming from and what to do with that traffic. So here's the thing, like you still have to understand, like, hey, I'm targeting, like I'm going for awareness campaigns, right? I'm going for people who haven't touched my brand before, or I'm going for people who've searched for my brand, right? So there's going to be many different strategies that you can implement, and the AMC data helps you understand kind of where that what customer that you're touching, and then you can build custom audiences for that. So just making sure. So the queries I suggest now, the thing about it is that I'm not a SQL coder. I was forced to learn, not learn, I was forced to dabble in SQL at my time at Amazon, but let me tell you, that was a tough experience for sure. So the power of our tool is the fact that you don't have to create these queries yourself as far as coding for them, right? This is a no-code solution that Xnurta provides you. So when you go in to set up a custom audiences, you use those insights that we give you. We give you 10 different models to look at if you're running DSP, 8 if you're just running sponsored ads. So you can look at your path to conversion. You can look at your lifetime value model. You can look at your cross-product association, for example, unique reach. So are you reaching unique visitors that you haven't reached before across your ad types? And then leverage those insights in order to create a custom audience to help you target them more effectively. I'll give you one example here, just to kind of drive this home. So let's just say, I know we had talked about AMC for DSP awareness campaigns, but let's just look at, let's look at the DSP awareness campaigns again, right? And so, or competitor campaigns. These are going to be people who may not be searching for your brand or may not know of your brand, but you have a product that can compete with your competitor, a competitor product, right? So if I'm leveraging AMC data, I can see that um, I can start targeting people who have searched for your competitors, right? I can exclude people who have searched for your brand, for example, or keywords that are related to the products you sell. So that makes it makes it a little bit more strategic in that we're searching for people who truly don't know who your brand, what your brand is and what it sells quite yet, right? But you can base it off of what their behavior or with their competitors, or how they're searching or navigated within Amazon's ecosystem. So competitor campaigns, the awareness campaigns, where you're just going out and find people who are like lookalikes to a certain demographic as well. So if you do have some new to brand metrics, which you will if you already have sales, you can create a lookalike audiences based on that engagement as well to go out for Amazon to try to find more people like them, for example. So those are just a few things that you can leverage here. But there's just an infinite number of ways that you can kind of slice this, right? And also we have a team to kind of help you as well. So answer some of these strategic questions if you're in an AMC hub to kind of give you these ideas and use cases that we can provide so you can go out and try to execute in the way that you want to execute as well. But those are just kind of a couple of things that are top of mind.
I mean, game-changing tools. It's super exciting to see what's out there now. Now it's just understanding how to use them and how to implement them and what does that mean. So definitely
Mhm.
appreciate you, David, for taking the time to help us navigate this because as we all know, Amazon is ever changing and always keeping us on our toes. So we appreciate
Absolutely.
you and the Xnurta team. We definitely encourage follow-up conversation with the Xnurta team. They are awesome at what they do, and we'd love to have a conversation with you. That's how we get the intel and topic ideas for future conversations and webinars. So feel free to reach out to me at tiffany@bwgconnect.com and we can get some time on the calendar. It's a wrap. We're at time. Awesome. Happy Tuesday, everyone.
It's been
Thank
a
you all for
pleasure. Thank you for
joining.
having me.
Take care. David, it was a pleasure. Take care.
Figure. Bye.
Bye.